Yo guys, welcome back. It's been a while since we talked about leaks. Let's get back into it. Screw the hiatus. We're going to get right back into it. We're going to get to 40,000 subscribers. Obviously, I know we went down a little bit. We're not at 30K. We were, right next to it because we went down. I wasn't posting. My apologies. But we're going to get back into it. We're going to get a lot of videos, a lot of stuff coming out, and we're going to get right into it as Final Shape approaches. And then tons of content's going to come out for Final Shape, so you better all subscribe and join my Discord. But other than that, let's get right into it. So today's video is going to really start off with leaks on the story. And story is a very big thing. Obviously, we love the story. I personally love the story. Destiny is one of the big things that always keeps me going. And even if the game gets a bit repetitive or boring at times, I always love coming back and just doing it. And with this leak source, it apparently comes from a Bungie ex-dev that was a part of the narrative team but was laid off a couple months back when Bungie was doing those layoffs, but has a lot of stuff to talk about. So he starts off saying that after the Final Shape, the first major storyline title, Echoes, will focus on the Vanguard receiving a lead on the Vex homeworld. This is uncovered through mysterious transmissions, or exif, in the wake of this, which would be the wake of the Witness's defeat, because apparently this sort of transmission is being emitted from a pyramid ship after the Witness's defeat. What comes next is directly from a story roadmap that Bungie execs hand out before he started developing the gameplay features. Over the course of 18 weeks, split into 3 6-week periods, Guardians will embark on a journey to intercept these signals and decode their origin. The first period has players scouring various destinations in a new mission called Signal Recon, where they locate and interpret the transmissions. As the narrative progresses into the second period, the focus shifts to infiltrating these Vex networks, where players engage in an activity known as simulated invasion, entering Vex constructions to gather vital intelligence. The climax of this arc sees players launching an all-out assault on the fortified Vex stronghold in a high-stakes mission called Fortress of Glass, facing a powerful Vex Axis mind to uncover the final coordinates of their Enigma homeworld. Unless anything majorly changes with deadlines and more layoffs after Final Shape releases, this would be set in stone. So again, we already know that the episode is called Echoes, and it's likely at this point going to be focusing on the Vex. It just comes down to what it will be like. We already know it will be 18 weeks, 6 weeks of new activities. So if there is going to be an activity through this looks likely to be happening. Midway through episode 1, a second exotic mission is introduced reminiscent of the original Whisper of the Worm mission. After week 12, Guardians step through a Vanguard-created portal and find themselves in a vast Vex factory dedicated to the production of radiolaria, the lifeblood of the Vex. This mission accumulates into a battle against a massive controlling Cyclops that oversees the radiolaria vats within the factory. Successful completion of this mission rewards players with a unique trace rifle similar to Ruinous Effigy, but designed to emit a concentrated beam of radiolaria that transforms single enemies into arc spheres. Obviously, that looks sick. And the trace rifle we just got from Final Shape, the video that they did that does bonus damage against shield enemies, I'm not really hyped about. So if this trace rifle can be really cool, I will be hyped about. Following Echoes, the second episode, Revenant, brings the Scorn back into the spotlight, led by Vikrul. Over another 18-week period, we confront the Scorn's resurgence, starting with missions in an unvaulted Tangled Shore, like how Titan was presented in Season of the Deep, to disrupt their supply lines and gather intelligence on Vikrul's plans by eliminating key Scorn leaders. This initial period introduced a new public event called Scorn Ambush, where players must defend key locations from relentless Scorn attacks. As the second period starts, players take the fight to hidden Scorn bases in a new strike, Vikrul's Den, aiming to dismantle the Scorn's command structure. The final 6 weeks see a large-scale assault on Vikrul's stronghold in the Dreaming City in an epic raid-like type activity. We are developing systems for 12-man activities during the Final Shape cycle. Obviously, we know that the huge leak that Liz and tons of legible people have said that the last, or somewhat of the last activity in the Final Shape is supposed to be a 12-man activity, and we have seen that there has been some error codes and issues back in the day where players could have 2 raid teams, so 12 players be in the same raid. So it's likely going to be happening at this point, and then Bungie will start to implement it. And this activity for a 12-man activity inside Revenant would likely be called Fanatic's Folly, where fire teams dismantle Vickrul operations piece by piece, facing his most loyal followers and ultimately Vickrul himself into a climactic showdown. In the third episode, Heresy, which in my personal opinion is what I'm really hyped for, takes the story to the Dreadnought, as the Hive experience a resurgence following the death of Xivu Arath. So this is the big implication if this leak is to be true. Following the death of Xivu Arath, again, that likely is to point out that sometime from Final Shape to Revenant that Xivu Arath will be going bye-bye. Again, I don't know when they have a chance to do that. I don't know if Xivu's going to have a spotlight in the Final Shape or they're going to save her in Heresy. Again, a lot of people have mixed thoughts on what they're doing with this character at this point. A new mysterious leader, Nokris, revived by Savathun using his own methods of necromancy, seeks to fill the power vacuum. Guardians delve into more Hive rituals with the help of Eris Morn. The first period has players investigating strange Hive activity on the Dreadnought, uncovering clues about the new leader through a quest called Shadows of Heresy, which involves piecing together Hive artifacts. As the new Hive plans come clear to players in the second period, Guardians must throw out a significant Hive ceremony intended to revive their new leader in the Strike Ritual of the Damned. The episode's finale takes place deep within the twisted depths of the Dreadnought, where the new raid, the Heretic Ascent, challenges fireteams open again, navigate the Dreadnought, expose the feud between Eris and Savathun, and confront the new Hive leader again, quote-unquote, Nokris, in an epic battle for dominancy, which ultimately ends in Eris Morn finally becoming the new Hive god capable of controlling a small force of Hive Guardians. So, thoughts. Looking at that with the last episode is a bit very surprising, because the first two episodes look awesome and look like that is something likely to come out, but the entire whole vibe, I think, from the last couple of years was Xivu Arath being built up to be another big bad, and I know a lot of people want her to be like an expansion type villain or a raid type person, raid boss. But if this is to be true, again, that kind of will leave people a bit unsure. Again, I don't know how amazing it would be to have Nokris again. I know a lot of people don't feel like Nokris really got the shit out of the stick, and no one really talks about him anymore because of everything. But if there's a way Nokris can come back, I think it could be really good. Again, it was I think his character was that Oryx didn't like him or something and didn't care for him. So a cool revenge story in that type of deal would be really cool. But we've always gotten him as a strike and then maybe as an activity boss, and that was it. Xivu, on the other hand, has been teased through seasons and seasons. So if the whole entire leader thing here was just Xivu Arath entirely, I would be really hyped. But again, it's very unsure. They don't really know. They don't specify on the death of Xivu Arath, which is definitely the little teeny structure there. But it does come into place that if we were going to get 2 dungeons, which we know we are in the Final Shape year, then we get a dungeon in Echoes, we get a dungeon in Revenant, and then we get a raid in Heresy. We don't know if they're going to reprise or make a new raid throughout that, other period of time. We just know we're getting the new raid in Final Shape and the 2 dungeons supposedly after at some point. But looking at all that together, we have ourselves a really cool storyline that I see with these 3 single-owned stories, because again, they're not supposed to be something that keeps building up. They're their own 18-week structure stories on their own. It shouldn't be continuity. It doesn't really matter with these. So it's very interesting. I can't wait for Bungie to pull off what they do with Echoes, because I know a lot of people have been asking about it. I know we just had a Vidoc today, and there's another Vidoc coming out tomorrow, but they haven't really talked about episodes yet, and a lot of people really want to talk about episodes, because I don't think Bungie should just reveal some of them in I don't know, a TWID. I feel like a whole 10-15 minute period just to talk about what episodes are leading up to and what they are, because again, Bungie kind of has to start talking about Echoes, but at the same time they really can't, because it really comes down to how Final Shape concludes. So hopefully after Final Shape is over and the Witness is defeated, then they'll have a Vidoc to just talk about Echoes in that 2nd or 3rd weekly reset, and we get more information, because we really don't know anything. But yeah, that really covers up for right now on the story structure. We have a lot of things coming. I'm really hyped for what Bungie's going to prepare, because a lot of these episodes have the potential to be really well done. And again, let me know your thoughts. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.